We're the UK's leading business process outsourcing company. The group's made up of around about 150 legal entities with providing services to customers and clients in lots of different types of industries. Where we'd come from was we had a number of legal entities on separate systems, and we had a number of accounts payable departments and clerks dotted all around the UK. So obviously quite a lot of high overheads there in terms of the number of people working in a department, and a lot of them are just sort of keying in data. In 2004, when we first engaged with ReadSoft, we were processing around about 100,000 invoices per year. And as I said, this was carried out, I think, around about sort of 40 staff dotted over sort of 10 or 15 locations around the UK. And so what we've got since we've bought ReadSoft and implemented that is we've managed to have consolidate our AP teams down to have a single central AP department. People out in the field that were working in AP have been able to be allocated to more value-added tasks. And what we've also seen is in those years since installing the software and making use of it, our volumes have increased. We're now processing around about 400,000 invoices per year. And we've only had to increase the staff by a very small number to deal with those extra volumes. So that it just kind of really demonstrates how the software and the processes behind it are able to deal with higher volumes without having to throw more resource at it in order to manage the process. Now we do have ReadSoft. We've got a solution where all of our vendor invoices are sent to a single location in the north of England, in Darlington. They perform our scan operations there, so that's where all the optical character recognition part of the process takes place. We also then do all of our data archiving of the actual paper invoices. They all get stored there in a warehouse, so we don't have to deal with transporting them off site. But they're all readily available if we need to retrieve them for audit purposes or anything. A recent change that we've made from our SAP side is we've started making use of the materials management module, or the procurement module. And so we had to engage with ReadSoft there to use some additional parts of their software for the materials management invoice handling. Previous to that, we were just doing finance-only invoices. And so we had a little bit of work going on to integrate the purchase order data from the back-end SAP transactions into the ReadSoft cockpit. It's got all kinds of lovely invoice matching, looks for goods receipting, does price checks and things like that. And off the back of all of those, if there's any errors found, the system will trigger automatic workflows out to business users for them to resolve issues, and then hopefully resolve the issues through to processing the invoice, and then ultimately our central AP team will pay that. So we've got potentially 40,000 users who could be raising purchase orders, which would all be feeding into the ReadSoft system, and ReadSoft will be handling all of the invoice processing related to those purchase orders. That would move us away from the finance processing, and it would mean that we've got all of our authorisations and approvals done way up front of the process, meaning once we've got the invoice receipted, provided we've got the GRM booked in and price and quantities are all matching up, we should see a straight through process, and then the only time really that we're then touching that document again is at the time of payment. So there's a lot of benefit to be had from that.